Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Shadowlands video. So, professions, they've always been a part of WoW, but in times gone by, they were broader, they were less directed, they were a bit more important, and really that importance of professions has varied wildly over time. You know, one time it was core to gearing, it was greatly important for, say, your pre-raid bis, but recently though, with the raid tiers having their intent systems and gear sliding into the RNG ditch, you only really having 2 bits you could get from raids, professions have kind of been weird, they've taken a bit of a back seat, and rather than Blizzard designing them to have more interactions and systems, like an economy, they kind of redid them to be quest content in Legion, and then some of that design...
I liked it and I didn't also at the same time, because doing it as quest content, like, I just had to do it. Like, you just had to do it. I feel like they were a little bit too involved, but BFA, they're just so boring.
And carried forward into BFA. It's all been a bit bizarre. So now that Shadowlands Alpha is here, I'm happy to say that I'm really excited now that I've seen what's up. Professions used to be one of the main things that I did, especially, oh man, the meta-gem markets of Wrath and Kata, the ore shuffles, oh, I loved it. Thus far, I can say this, the core of Shadowlands profession updates is pretty interesting, and it is optional reagents.
I haven't seen any of this shit
You'll be able to add these when crafting your armor, and you could give that an increased item level, a guaranteed secondary stat, or a special effect. Yes, it's not RNG anymore. You know, that's
what
that's
the fuck? What does this say? Customize the final output of an item craft. Select from a variety of optional reagents to change the stat outcome of your items guaranteed. You can fill 2 slots once. So this is just like fucking fossils in PoE, right? Holy shit! This is, what a game, dude! What a fucking game! So can I ask you guys something? And actually, this is such a big question. I want to talk about it after the video. But do you think that if they do things like this, will gear be too easy to get? Will people just get all the gear like super fast and then have nothing else to do? Like, that's one thing I do worry about. I'll be really curious to see what happens in Shadowlands. No, nobody thinks that. Okay, it's a concern that I have, but I don't know how relevant it's going to be. I guess we'll just have to find out.
Pretty cool things, and yes, it's just 3 boxes in the UI that may seem like a minor addition, but they've got the potential to solve just a whole bunch of persistent problems that crafting professions have had and really drag them into the modern day, freshen them up a bit. But there's even more, because, you know, we've also seen a bit of the classic influence on the professions as well, well as more interconnectedness between the professions. That's also at the core of it, is like what's driving the optional reagents. So that's great. Plus, we've seen a whole bunch in the gear modification department, some of it with more of a classic flavor. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's actually look at how these systems are going to work. And I mean, man, this is really good stuff. I'm really excited. Okay, so you will open your UI and you will find the piece of gear that you want to craft. But what will be different is that, yes, it'll have its usual slots for its base materials, its ore, its cloth, whatever. But below that, you'll see 3 optional reagent slots. Now, each one of these can fit a range of items that are crafted by other professions. And depending on the input, yes, you'll be able to change the stats on the crafted bit of gear that you're going to make.
So the jewels influence the stats that are going to be on the gear. Holy shit, dude. Like, I'm... Oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I don't even know what to say. This is what we've want. Like, it's crazy that they do the game like that. You make so players want something, and then Blizzard is like, okay, and then they just do it. What the fuck, dude? That's crazy.
This is a direct way to affect the power of the gear that you make, as opposed to the RNG-based secondary stats, or maybe even the item level things that many crafts have had recently. Now, the optional reagents fall into 3 different categories, with each addressing a fundamental, I guess, problem that professions have faced. So the first increases its item level, whatever you're making. Now, this sort of engages with the problem of, you know, just crafted gear kind of being irrelevant at a certain point, right? Like in the past, an expansion would launch, you'd have, you know, you'd have all your base sets of gear you can make, and bar the raid-specific ones, I mean, all that stuff would just be completely pointless after a tier, right? It would become irrelevant so fast. And then all too often, just so many parts of the professions wouldn't really keep up to the patches. Well, if this stuff was supported throughout the patch cycle, and I think it would be, then yeah, we could have more longevity in our crafted gear, which would be really good. You know, you could have recipes from the base patch be augmented in, say, patch 9.2 with new reagents that bring them up to power, or maybe give you some new customization options. So
That's
there's
awesome.
that for item level. Then the second category will add a secondary stat, such as, you know, haste, crit, dodge, mastery, directly. And this steps away from the sometimes bewildering RNG of the last two expansions. I think this is the most...
Bro, like, you fucking spend 20,000 gold, and you have your one chance, and you have to use your expulsum that you fucking farmed out. You had to use all of your other items, and you have to make a belt, and you want to hit crit haste, and it goes verse crit. I don't like it.
Practical part of the system for players.
I don't like it.
And it really does, like, just match up with Blizzard's wider plan for player agency. And I think it's going to feel really nice. I mean, you know, you'll have that unpruned spell book. You won't be having Titan forging in your gear. You'll have agency over your secondary stats for your crafts. That's really cool. Then the third category adds special effects to your armors, such as Beast Slayer on helms and bracers. It's kind of reminiscent of getting your set gloves in Wrath. So these special effects, they seem to have a fairly wide range of like abilities or, you know, just effects, whatever. And they'll generally just give you a bit more flavor to your armor. Now, to get a full measure of these special effects and why players are going to, I think, be a little bit more friendly to each other, or at least have to rely on each other a bit more, let's just go and run through what we know about some of the professions so far.
So do you get special
only
effects
certain
from the other
crafting professions will be using optional reagents, but every profession will be able to make them. So to increase the item level of a recipe, you'll need a word of power, and that's...
Somebody said in chat, another game idea stolen because WoW can't make their own shit. I used to be so excited whenever a new MMO would come out because I knew that WoW would go and take all of their good ideas and then turn them into their own ideas. WoW and Blizzard are geniuses in stealing other people's ideas and then passing them off as their own and making them slightly better and integrating them into their own game. I want more MMOs to come out so WoW can steal all of their ideas and put them in our game. Just like Apple. Yes, exactly. And that's what I want them to do. I want them to steal ideas. Because stealing ideas means that you're looking for all the best stuff.
From Inscription. For a socket, you'll need a jewel crafter to make you a jewel cluster. The special effect...
All right, let me read this again. Sorry, let me go back. Masterful jewel cluster can be placed in a socket or used as an optional crafting reagent to guarantee mastery as a secondary stat on the crafted item. Oh my god. Dude, there it is, dude. No, really, but I mean, like, this is fucking great. This is absolutely fucking great. Dude, JC is back. Yeah, this is awesome.
Special effect reagents are where like the professions, like economy is really going to take off here, I think, and it's just going to be a lot more interconnected. So alchemy, right? They can, they've got concoctions for the cloaks, where your cloak can actually.
Let me read this. An optional crafting reagent that makes the crafted armor increase the duration of well-fed. An optional crafting reagent that they can be crafted on a piece of armor, increasing the duration of flasks. Oh, man. I'm feeling good about this, dude. I'm feeling really good about this. Yeah, concoction. That's great. This is... I really hope they build on this.
Then the duration of your flask effects and well-fed bonuses, a really big goal saver. Then blacksmiths will be able to add Slayer augments to helms and bracers. Those can increase the damage to humanoids, aberrations, beasts, or undead.
Optional reagent to be crafted on a piece of armor, causing the wearer to deal more damage to undead. And this one here is Manslayer's Charm, causing the wearer to deal more damage to humanoids. Wow.
There's then the, I think, Listerite spikes. Now, these will occasionally just deal some additional damage. And right now, we don't know much about enchanting yet, but what's there seems exciting. So right now, these effects only seem to be available for the enchants on the shoulder slots, and they're things like adding damaging magical effects. One of them is a Burst of Cold, which all...
Your shoulders allow you to use an attack? Because look at it, it's on a cooldown. Instantly blast the target with ice. Like, wait, so you have a shoulder strike? Fucking shoulder strikes, dude. Yeah, shoulder charge, something like that. That's awesome.
Also applies a slow. Now that could be really cool. It'd be great to see what else is planned, but so far just the promise of these is so good for me. I mean, think about, you know, maybe your last minute arena play, if you've got that shoulder effect, maybe it's a 5-yard blink or a long cooldown counter spell. They could...
I love pausing the video like 50 times in between it. There was one time I did an arena match, and this is in Wrath of the Lich King, and the paladin bubbled at like 2% health, and I used my rocket gloves from engineering. Or sorry, he bopped, used blessing and protection, and I killed him through it because the fire damage from the gloves went through his blessing and protection. That was over 10 years ago. I still fucking remember it.
Add a little bit more in there, and it could be exciting. But that's not it, because moving past the optional reagents, well, there's something a little bit more classic feeling. So early data mining revealed a bunch of old school feeling things like weapon oils and sharpening stones.
Yeah.
They seem to just be minor stat increases, but yeah, they'll add like another important interaction for blacksmiths and for alchemists as an example. Now on that, the alchemists actually seem to be getting a fairly unique thing going on with their potions, some of which have actually got bonus effects if your weapon is using a certain type of oil. So there's that going on. And then for the enchants, well, we're back to having chest, cloak, boot, bracer, glove, and weapon enchants. That's way more slots, way more ways to customize your character. A lot more than BFA, that's for sure.
Hey,
and
there it is.
Enchanters so much more to do. Then for the engineers, I mean, they're once again getting belt enchants, and then leather workers.
Wait, I want to look at the leather working or the belt enchants. Give me a sec. Damage Retaliator. Permanently attach a device to your belt that, when activated, magically suspends several bladed weapons around you, causing any attackers to take damage. That would be really good for tanking. Permanently attaches a miniature wormhole generator to your belt, allowing you to instantaneously teleport a short distance. So Blink is a belt enchant. So you have Retaliation and Blink that you just put that shit on your belt, man. You just put it on your belt. Oh my god, 5-second cast? Oh yeah, oh wow, I didn't even notice that. Holy shit, you're right. So it's a wait, is it a 5-second cast to apply the enchant? Because it could be a 5-second cast to apply the enchant, not necessarily to use it.
And getting belt enchants, and then leather workers, while they do have nerf drums, which is a little bit sad, they do also get new armor kits going on. Now, much of this is stuff that was normal back in the day, but was just removed, right, in the name of streamlining, with the power bonuses that sort of came from all those enchants and things being moved away from the professions, which was a player-driven system, and just into RNG and Titan Forging, right, out of the player's hands. So with these changes, I think we'll have a more vibrant economy as well. That'll be really important for creating gameplay. So
I don't know about that.
Let's talk about the wider economy. These profession changes, I think, could shake up the economy real hard, and hopefully will give us more avenues to make some money. We'll have craftable items that will remain relevant for longer in an expansion. That means that the underlying economy will actually last longer. Then agency and what
that's
stat
actually really
we put
true.
on our gear, that removes some RNG frustrations, lets us target stat compositions, and again, all those optional reagents themselves, they're made from raw materials, and that just adds even more interactions into the economy, which I think is a very healthy thing indeed. Certainly, the further we get away from that oversimplified abomination that was Warlords of Draenor crafting,
well, everything about Warlords of Draenor was an oversimplified abomination, right? It's like, not only was crafting neutered down to basically a little fucking nub-ass chode, but on top of that, you took all of the other shit that was cool and all of the crafting gear, then you just fucking made it in the garrison. You didn't even have to go out and do anything. You just collected your herbs. Oh, let's go herbing. All right. Well, there's the garden right over there. Let's pick up some fucking herbs. It was awful, dude. Like, I don't get how maybe rare, harder to craft. Can you have more reagent slots? Yeah. I mean, I hope that they take this stuff and they really just go they go wild, man. They go wild with this stuff. Because I think that, like, Blizzard with Shadowlands, I think that they've realized that, like, the direction that they were taking about removing choice from players isn't something that people want. People want to be able to have the choices. And I really feel like this could be the correction that we need. Hopefully, but we'll see what happens. WoD was trash, LMAO. I know, this is for casual players. If you force this on actual raiders, it will suck ass. Why? Like, why would this suck? Like, yeah, I know, like, for the helmets and stuff, like, it'd be stupid if you had 2 different helmets for, like, different bosses. But other than that, I mean, it's not really that important. I don't think that's going to happen. Who thinks like that? Yeah, why? I don't know.
The better, for sure. So yeah, I mean, look, we will have to consider how all of this stuff will combine and actually work. But between this stuff and the new revamped auction house, I think we're in for a way better gold making experience than we've had.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, in quite some time indeed. But as good as all of that, I think absolutely does sound just at face value, there is still due diligence that we've got to do with the alpha, right? We still need to ask those questions, and we need to critique things when they appear. So, you know, how will the optional reagents actually work when they go live? What will they do to the economy? You know, how does engineering more fit into all of this? I mean, we haven't seen that much of it yet.
I don't think they know yet, honestly.
Like the perfect profession for system like the optional reagents. Then how will the balance go? Right? Will the raw materials be absurdly expensive? Will people feel like they need to get tokens to do raids? Will the magical effects be overpowered? Will they be meta defining? Will they homogenize classes too much?
These are all important concerns. Like what Bellular was saying, these are all very, very important concerns. And you're right he's right that they could very easily go and homogenize stuff way over. Wait, oh. Okay, guys. All right, that's real clever, okay? Real fucking clever. All right, let's move on.
Or would they just be so weak the whole system is trivial? Yeah. And then even past that whole system, what about archaeology? I mean, come on. Few things in WoW have got so much promise.
They should bury it.
Such a boring delivery. And then finally, and I know this is not really that feasible, but I just want to say this, put it out there. I'd love to be able to change my armor's appearance via professions. Things like, can I craft a little belt pouch, like a little add-on? Maybe tint changes. I mean, maybe we could get some tintable armor that the crafting professions could make and then could be dyed and changed. That could be really cool. Then I think another thing I'd like to know is what's their plan for profession content? You know, will we once again be doing Legion-style questing?
I think that sounds really cool, but here's why it's not good. Is because the different tints on the gear indicate difficulty. So, like, if you have the red gear, like the red ICC gear, that's because you did heroic ICC. If you have the brown gear, that's because you did normal mode ICC. And if you have the gray gear, that means that you're dog shit and you only can do 10-man. So, like, that's really what it is. So, Blizzard can only do, in my opinion, tints of gear if they change the way that they have the prestige system of gear and the way that the gear visually looks not be the prestige. Sorry, the tint of the gear not be the prestige.
Will we get patch 8.1 style questing? Hard to know. One thing as well for me, bop materials. They can be a pain in the ass. And I've disagreed with bop materials being real since the Motes of Harmony and Mists of Pandaria, which initially were bop, and that mostly killed profession gameplay for me. And the same goes for Expulsum. I'd love to see Blizzard embrace professions as their own
bind on pickup reagents. So here's the problem with not having that, and here's the problem with having it. So with having it, it makes it to where you have to go out and farm all the stuff. But without having it, then you just have all the profession gear be basically who has the biggest credit card. And I think that's also a concern. So I don't know exactly how to make both of those fit together. Like basically, if you have a profession and you have the items that are from that profession that are BOP, then there's no way that you're able to buy them from anybody else. But what they did with Expulsum is you just disenchanted them basically with the salvage thing, and you got the stuff anyway. So it just took one extra step. So if they want to do bind on pickup items, I think they should make it to where if you have bind on pickup items, you have to go out of your way to actually get them yourself, rather than just buying BOEs and then turning them into bind on pickup items.
Type of gameplay and just the economy being a really important thing, and maybe allow players to sell Expulsum, right? Just buy it from another player. I mean, hell, I'm sure the many players who don't want to do crafting but do get Expulsum would love to be able to sell
they made
it to
it
a crafter.
BOE.
That'll just make the economy a bit more efficient.
In like Wrath.
And then there is finally one thing,
like Primal
Torghast.
Nethers.
So I don't know how much is tied into it right now, but there's a lot of potential, right? The potential for Torghast specific things is massive. Torghast food, Torghast potions, all things that could be wacky and overpowered and crazy. I just love to see some experimentation on that front. And actually then, on that topic, you know, we will be able to craft our own legendaries in this expansion. And while that system's not in the game yet, from what Blizz have said, I actually do imagine we'll be using something very similar to this optional reagent system. And that's based on what we know so far, where it seems like we can make a legendary for whatever slot we want.
What a game.
And then we can customize that legendary with its own effects. And that itself is a massive win for player agency. It's one that I think, well, I'm very confident that would feel far better than Legion's just random as hell acquisition. So there you go. That's pretty much it for our first look at professions. It is all super early right now. We will have to wait a bit longer just to see what makes it onto subsequent builds, but I mean, rest assured, once professions are fully testable, we will be giving you a big deep dive look into them. But for now, look, I am happy that there is less RNG, that we've got more control over our stats.
Yeah, this is awesome.
The promise of a more vibrant economy is genuinely exciting to me, and there is nothing I would love more than to be able to go back to, you know, doing my ore shuffles, right? Having a bunch of max level characters for all my professions.
Imagine having an economy in an MMO.
Weeks of gameplay for me back in the day.
That'd be crazy.
I guess just that simplification and sort of reduction of interactions within the economy that happened over years and years, and the bind on pickup materials, that just eroded the profession gameplay for me so much. So just the prospect of some of that being more...
Wait, I'm on the fucking special thanks. Well, they put me on the special thing. Look at it. Where is it?
Play for me so much. So
I'm right there. Look at that, dude. Look at that, dude. How about that? I'm in the video, guys. Mom, I'm on TV.
Just the prospect of some of that being more of a thing you can do now, that really does get me excited. So yeah, there you go. That's it for me.
Wait, Clinton's on there? Oh shit. Hell nah, brother. Hell nah, brother. What the hell?
Yeah, there you go. That's it for me. Let me know, what do you think about professions, and what would you like to see for professions? Let me know in those comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and with that, I'll see you next time.
All right. This gives us a lot to talk about. I actually kind of want to go and see on the alpha what the professions are going to be like, because right now I'm actually super excited about it. Back in the day, professions used to be a really big fucking deal, and now I feel like in the past like 3 expansions, nobody's given a shit about them. Like, nobody's cared about professions at all, and I'd love to see them do more of that and focus more of that.